It's so startling, that recording in progress announcement. It always jars me a little bit when I join a meeting and it says that. Okay. I see some folks are joining us in our audience. David Andrews, Mike Carberry, Raymond Ward.
Excellent.
Okay, let's just give it one more minute as our other folks get joined. Aaron, we don't have a trivia question today as we get started. You don't have anything, do you?
I'm afraid I don't have one prepared. So that's always a fun thing to do, is to try to think what might be a good trivia question for each day, but I don't have one prepared.
Well, you can ask them what percentage of Iowa land is owned by women. And the answer is 47%.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
And so we will use that again in the future. I think that's an excellent one for us, Madeline.
Yeah.
And honestly, that has not changed in 35 years. That's the interesting part.
Really?
Wow. Very interesting. Well, everybody write that down in your notes, because we'll bank that for a later lunch and learn. So, Aaron, I think I just interrupted you, but if you want to go ahead and get us started, I think we're all set.
Very good. We will do that. Well, welcome everyone. This is the Iowa Farmers Union Lunch and Learn series, and we are so grateful to be joined today by Madeline Schultz, the Women in Ag program at Iowa State University. Thank you so much for being with us, Madeline. We're looking forward to having a great discussion.
Well, I'm delighted to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
We are going to talk about the program and the women it's impacting, and how it's working to uplift women by expanding economic potential in Iowa. And we are so grateful that you're here. A couple of Iowa Farmers Union announcements before we go any further. We have a number of exciting things going on that we wanted to share with everyone. Coming up soon, in March 9th through 11th, is the National Farmers Union Convention. It's meeting in Oklahoma City. And at our annual convention, we learn from one another. We have wonderful workshops, wonderful presentations given. We elect leadership positions in the National Farmers Union, and we adopt the policy for the National Farmers Union. And we are so grateful for our Iowa delegation going to Oklahoma City this year, March 9th through 11th. If you're interested, we would love to know if you're planning on going, so we can plan our group activities as we get a little bit closer. So let us know if you're interested in going to the National Farmers Union Convention, March 9th through 11th. Make sure your calendar has the Iowa Farmers Union Lobby Day set aside. That is February 18th in Des Moines. We are looking forward to that. It's an excellent opportunity to bring the Farmers Union message to policymakers in Des Moines. Certainly, we have a very important agenda moving ahead, so make sure your calendar is marked for February 18th and look for your inbox for more information about that. We are busy preparing for the Iowa Farmers Union Lobby Day on February 18th. The Iowa Farmers Union Board of Directors has a student position, and that position currently is vacant, and we're looking for applicants who are interested in serving on the Iowa Farmers Union Board of Directors. So if you're a student or know of a student who would fit the bill for that, it helps govern the organization as we move forward with our agenda for family farming, sustainable agriculture, and a more just and sustainable food system. So if you're interested, please send your information on to me at alayman@iowafarmersunion.org. We'd love to hear if you're interested in serving in that position. and we'll be selecting the person to serve in that position soon. The Iowa Farmers Union 40K in 40 days campaign is continuing. We're approaching our goal. We're getting very, very close, but it's not too late to give to the Iowa Farmers Union 40K in 40 days campaign. Your efforts make this organization bring our message to every one of our members and to the entire state of Iowa. So your generous gifts are very, very much appreciated. So please give to the Iowa Farmers Union and look up that information in the chat. We have a nice link. It makes it nice and easy to donate to the Iowa Farmers Union 40K 40 days campaign. The Iowa Farmers Union is sending a person to the College Conference on Cooperatives. Would you be willing to be our representative? That's taking place February 13th through 16th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. There'll be college students from all around the country learning about the cooperative movement and how it can make a real difference in our rural communities. It's an excellent opportunity in this. There are stipends available to help students go. Please check out the link in the chat. I also wanted to refer to a food safety webinar that is taking place next week. We are that's put on by the National Farmers Union, and it's about scaling your food business safely. That's January 12th, 12 to 1. And go ahead and register with the link. I think you might have received information about it in the email, but of course, contact us if you'd like more information about the National Farmers Union Lunch and Learn featuring Elizabeth Sullivan from Cornell University, and it's about scaling your food business safely. I also wanted to remind people about a couple other items. The Iowa Food System Coalition has its lobby day on January 23rd. Go to the Iowa Food System Coalition website to learn all about it. Training is already underway, but January 23rd, we hope to see everyone in Des Moines at the State House. Just a couple more announcements. The Iowa Farmers Union was very proud to announce yesterday that a lawsuit is being brought forth by the Federal Trade Commission and the Attorney Generals from Minnesota and Illinois to bring some real action for farmers trying to repair their own equipment. So a right to repair lawsuit is being filed by the Federal Trade Commission and the Illinois and Minnesota Attorneys General to allow farmers to repair their own equipment without restrictions from tractor and equipment manufacturers. So check out that link and learn more about it. We were very proud that we were successful in advocating that lawsuit being brought forward. So learn more about it, and you'll learn, and we'll be sharing all sorts of more of information about the right to repair issue in the coming weeks. Next week, on January 23rd, we will be having our next Lunch and Learn, and we're going to be learning about a swamp buster issue. The Iowa Farmers Union has entered in as an intervener to help the U.S. defend USDA and the swamp buster provisions of farm programs that are being challenged in court. The Iowa Farmers Union is intervening to defend the swamp buster provisions in our farm programs. Learn more about that lawsuit taking place here in Iowa next week at our Lunch and Learn. So please check out the link, check your email out for that. We're going to be joined by people involved in that lawsuit, and the interveners, our farmer interveners in that lawsuit, are Iowa Farmers Union members who are helping intervene to protect swamp buster provisions. I think that's about it for our announcements, Christina. I think we should shift to our wonderful conversation that we're going to have today with Madeline Schultz from Iowa State University. She is the Women in Ag Program Manager with Iowa State University at the Department of Economics and Extension and Outreach. And she's talking today about issues facing Iowa's women in agriculture, and she'll talk about the program. Madeline is the Women in Ag Program Manager, and her work increases connections among women in design, and she designs educational programs of being to build the professional capacity of educators and stewards of program funding in order to improve the lives of women and their families and enhance agriculture stability. She coordinates the management course. This is for women as well as an annual leadership conference. She serves as president of the National Board of Directors of Annie's Project, Education for Farm Women, and she serves as the secretary of the Iowa Women in Agriculture nonprofit organization. We're really glad that you're here to share with us today, Madeline. Thank you for being with us.
Well, thank you, Aaron and Christina. I'm really happy to be here. I've been involved with the Farmers Union for quite some time, first getting involved in a previous role I had working on cooperative development, and then continuing some involvement with the National Farmers Union Women's Conference. So I wanted to mention that because the National Farmers Union Women's Conference held each November is an incredible opportunity. So be sure to spread the word about that. So I will go ahead and share my screen here, and then we'll go ahead and get started with our discussion today. All right. So little quick preview here. I'm going to talk a little bit about Iowa's women in agriculture and what kinds of programs we do for this audience. I'll share a couple of stories of some people who participated in our programs, and then I'll offer some resources from our farm management team and how you can connect with some of our programming. So from the 2022 Census of Ag, we know that more than 32% of all Iowa farmers are women. This is a number that had been increasing over the past few years. It actually went down a little bit in 2022, though. So 60% of all Iowa farmers, both men and women, have off-farm jobs. And I think that's really important to note, because as today's farmers are taking care of their crops and livestock, working off the farm, taking care of their families, they're very busy. And I just feel like today, as much as ever, it really takes families and partners working together to keep that farm business successful. So it's really important to empower women to make good decisions. So also from the 2022 Census of Ag, the Iowa data, we know that women are involved in lots of ways on farms in Iowa. Almost 3/4 of them are involved in record keeping and financial management and a lot of day-to-day decision making. Then over half are involved also in estate and succession planning, as well as land use and crop decisions. And if we have 45% involved in marketing and 33% involved in livestock decisions. So women are making important contributions to Iowa's farming industry through their ownership, through their employment, and through their I've been a part of Iowa State University since 2000, and every year there's been more and more undergraduate students in the College of Ag and Life Sciences who are women. So this year that number is at 58.8%. And we know that these increasingly, these graduates are increasingly integral to agriculture in our state. You're seeing these young women in a lot of different agribusinesses. They're out there doing a lot of agronomic work, for example. And so it's really great to see more and more young women involved in agriculture. And one of the things that's interesting to me is that nationally, women have been 50% or more of college graduates since the 1980s. So this isn't necessarily a new phenomenon. And yet there is still a leadership gap between men and women. I mentioned earlier that in a previous role, I was involved with cooperatives. And when you look at the cooperative boards of directors, there's not very many women in those leadership roles. So that's like just an example that you all might be familiar with. And I'd really like to see more women in those leadership roles. So we know that agriculture is a complex industry, and we really need the talents and energy of both men and women to succeed. So this information comes from a national study that was done by agcareers.com. And they did this study in 2015 for the first time, repeated it in 2020. And it just gives a little sense of the gender equality and the gender roles in agribusiness. So I just highlighted a few things here that I thought you might be interested in. So 90% of men and women felt that the attitude towards women in agribusiness has changed for the better. In fact, women in agribusiness feel better about their opportunities for success and advancement than women in other industries. So that is really positive for agriculture. But only 31% of women feel they are sufficiently represented in agribusiness. So some of their most valued benefits, of course, men and women both really value health insurance. I know I do. But then there's some differences. Men tend to revalue that retirement package and some recognition, whereas women are a little more interested in flexible hours and family leave because they often have greater responsibilities within the family. In this study, men reported higher earnings, but the perceptions were a little different. So 54% of the women felt they would be better compensated if they were male, and 82% of the men felt they would be paid the same if they were female. So the men just thought, oh, there's no difference, but quite a few of the women saw that difference in their paychecks. So just a little bit of information there about our women in agribusiness. So that's just kind of very brief background on who our women in agriculture are in Iowa. And I, in my programming, try to reach out to both women farmers and women in agribusiness. And these women are juggling farming and non-farming careers. They're making good land management decisions, very concerned about the future of the farm. And they want to operate profitable businesses, don't we all? They like working with family members or other business partners. And many times they are beginning new businesses, or they may be at the opposite end of things where they're transitioning away from a business and want to make good decisions there as well. And we're seeing many more women take on leadership roles. So this is a nice little summary of who our audience is that we're trying to reach. So I work in particular with our Extension and Outreach Farm Management team. And within that team, we have a mission to improve the quality of life in Iowa by providing research-based educational programs. We want to expand agricultural business, improve natural resource management, and support the community of women in agriculture. And to many of you, this might sound pretty familiar because these really are the three tenets of sustainable agriculture, right? So that's what we're all striving towards. So one of our legacy programs is Annie's Project. As you can see here in the bottom right corner of my slide, we have been doing Annie's Project in Iowa for 20 years. We're going on our 21st year here in 2025. And Annie's Project is a demand-driven program. It is focused on risk management. So Annie's Project teaches business management concepts in the area of finances, legal, marketing, human resources, and production. So those are the 5 key areas of risk in any business, and we cover all of that in Annie's project. And we really strive to bring women together and make meaningful connections with other women in ag, as well as professionals in the community who could assist them. And we find that these programs really make a measurable impact on women and their farm businesses. Annie's project is an 18-hour class, and over the course of that time, women are making decisions and taking actions to improve their farm business. So it's very exciting, and our farm management team feels like it's very worthwhile to run these programs. So over time, we've had 135 Annie's Project classes in Iowa with almost 2,300 people. We've also had 106 Annie's Inspired courses. So what is it I mean by Annie's Inspired? Well, as I mentioned, Annie's Project covers 5 key areas of agricultural risk. And we survey women after they complete the classes, and they say, hey, I learned a little bit about grain marketing in this class, but now I want to know a lot more about it. Or I learned a little bit about business planning, but now I want to know a lot more about it. So over time, we've developed 14 different curricula that speak to specific management aspects that women are involved in. And that's been really useful for a lot of women. One of our newer programs has been called Women Managing Farmland. And we've had courses, forums, webinars, all kinds of ways to reach our audience with our education on women managing farmland. But that program really focuses on decisions in 3 key areas. One is leasing, and especially leasing to beginning farmers, or trying to use the lease to transition to the next generation. Secondly is conservation, because that's always so important. We got to take care of the land. That's our base. Well, and then thirdly, transitioning that farm business to the next generation, and doing that intentionally and over time. So that's been a really great program for us. We are also completed our 8th annual leadership conference last December. And our goals there are really to increase women's belief in themselves and the power of lifelong learning, create connections with other women that inspire their leadership, and give those women practical skills that they can use and apply. And so we've had a really great time with that conference. It's happens every December or right after Thanksgiving. So we're looking forward to our next conference in 2025, in early December, actually. So all of these activities and more that we are doing with Extension and Outreach create both private and public value. And that is really the mission of Extension and Outreach. Yes, we want to help individuals increase the profitability of their farm businesses. Yes, we want them to have greater rural lifestyle satisfaction. But along with that, we are really trying to create benefits for all Iowans and really for everyone around the world. So how we do that is, farm by farm, creating that improved economic resiliency, reducing soil loss and improving our water quality, and creating that stronger women, or community of women in ag. And so many women comment on how important that is, just to network with other women, learn from other women, and have them to call on when they maybe have situations they need help dealing with. So that community of women in ag is super important. And through all of this work, we know that we're improving agricultural sustainability as women are key stakeholders in the industry of ag and the production of safe, plentiful food. So just a few stories. With our leadership conference, we have a program called Women Impacting Ag. April Hemis was one of our award winners, actually way back in 2006, if I recall correctly. But it was great to honor her as one of those. And many of you may know April. She's received several awards and has been conservation awards, farming awards, and has been on the board of directors of the National United Soybean Board. But April has been a big believer in extension programming. She was really involved in some of our grain marketing programs and even led some forums and workshops for other women, especially on grain marketing. So just a really great example of how extension can help support women and their farming goals. Another story is from another woman impacting ag, and this is Susan Keenan. She's from Northeast Iowa. Susan was a nurse at Mayo for many, many years. She's also been involved in 4-H, and I think it was 1972 when she actually did a 4-H exchange with a farm family in Ohio, and has just been so instrumental to a successful Iowa 4-H program here. And Susan has a farm on a very hilly, highly erodible ground in Northeast Iowa, and has just been a stellar example of implementing conservation practices. And over the years, she has attended Annie's project 3 times because things change and she wants to stay up to date and gather all the resources she can to help her with her farming business. So pleased to share Susan's story with you as well. So I'd like to bring you some resources today too. As I mentioned, I do work with our farm management team, and our website that we have at Iowa State University is called Ag Decision Maker. On Ag Decision Maker, we've got information for crop producers, livestock producers, whole farm management, business development, cooperatives, and energy. A lot of great information. This website is put together by our farm management extension specialist, as well as our faculty in the Department of Economics on campus. And just some of the things that I know people love to use are some of our spreadsheets. You can go on here, prepare a crop budget, for example. You can see how to put together a net farm income statement. There's just a lot of really useful tools. There's also a lot of videos, for example, on grain marketing that you can learn from. So it is a very comprehensive resource that a lot of people in other states come to. So we are very proud of our Ag Decision Maker, and there is a lot of valuable information there for everyone. And I also wanted to just briefly introduce to you our Extension Farm Management team. We do have 8 field specialists located around the state, as well as our specialists on campus that are faculty. And these are great people to reach out to. We also have what we call associate farm management specialists, and their job is to specifically help people who are struggling with their farm finances and to help them through that. So if you know of anyone who might struggling with their farm finances, you can reach out to this team right here, and they'll connect you with those associates who are kind of specialists in that area. So just something I wanted to mention, especially with lower crop prices this year. It's been a bit of a challenging year for everyone. So our Women in Ag program offers courses, webinars, workshops, forums, conferences. We have things going on all year. And how people can find out about this is, best thing is just go to our website here. And we have the list of upcoming events. So we're listing all the events that we're doing throughout the year there. And of course, you can also contact me with any questions you have. But this is a great kind of one-stop place to look for women in ag programming. I was just doing a focus group yesterday, and women were asking like, hey, I want more on grain marketing. I want more on transitioning. And I reminded them, and I'll remind you too, contact your county extension office and let them know, hey, I want to learn more about grain marketing, or I want to know more about women managing farm finances. Because when our extension audiences let them know what they're interested in, more often than not, that can be provided. So be sure to reach out to extension, let them know that you're interested. So that's my presentation for today. I'm happy to answer any questions and tell any more stories. I have so much I would love to share with you, but I'm trying to keep within our time limit. So I'll stop sharing the screen and I'll return it to you, Aaron. And I believe that this presentation is in the chat box if you would like to save that for review later.
Well, Madeline, this is just fantastic information, and I want to focus people's attention to the comment you made at near the end of the presentation, is that it in addition to reaching out to you and your team there, that it's important to reach out locally to our folks. That helps them design programming that is responsive to your community, and it's really a partnership of resources, right, on local level and in your team there at Iowa State.
You bet.
Yeah, and so we had a quick question that asks, you know, as you talked about some of the challenges that we're facing in rural Iowa, and so often we know that one or both members of the head of a household need to have off-farm employment in order to make things work on the farm. So how does that impact family size independent farm models as opposed to larger models of employment that are more of a corporate model? What does that mean for our family scale independent farm model?
That's really an interesting question. So what I do see is there's multiple generations involved in a farming business, and there are multiple generations with off-farm jobs, right? So
Right.
you know, a smaller farm may not have enough income to support multiple families, but when we include those off-farm jobs, then everyone can be a part of that family farm and benefit from that, and the farm business can benefit from their assistance as they are working part-time or full-time off the farm. So I think actually it's a good thing for Iowa agriculture that we do have this kind of opportunities. We are very fortunate in Iowa that we do have a lot of off-farm related jobs that we can do in addition to our farming. Those jobs are available to us. So I think that's actually a real benefit.
Absolutely.
I hope I answered the question.
Oh, I think so. I think so. You know, another question was asked. You know, we know from the from all the information we have how important the role of women in agriculture are, and it's so important to remind people of that because there are perception differences out there that we need to address with the facts that we lead with. The question asks, you know, there are real challenges to women taking leadership roles in farm institutions. You mentioned co-ops, for instance, sometimes have unrepresentative boards for women in some cases, and other institutions as well. What's the biggest challenge for providing real paths towards meaningful leadership roles in these agriculture institutions that we rely on?
That's a really great question. My daughter is a dairy farmer in Illinois, and she has been a part of various organizations within the dairy industry working on leadership as well, you know, trying to get more leaders on dairy cooperatives, for example. And a lot of it is recognizing the talent that women do have and inviting them. You know, if you are serving on a board, make sure you're looking at the women, you know, among the membership, because there's a lot of talent there. And oftentimes they just need to be invited to be a part of this. So that's one area. But also we do see just a lot more women interested in taking on these roles. And I think that's really a great thing too. So I think it's kind of shifting slowly over time, but you know, it's the current board reaching out to women, and it's women also reaching towards them and letting them know they're interested, right?
Absolutely. Well, Madeline, our time has just gone by so quickly, but you provided so many great resources for people to check into and to get involved in the wonderful work that you're doing. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your work. And we know it's just the start of many conversations on this that we want to have going forward. So thank you again, Madeline.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day, everyone.
This has been the Iowa Farmers Union Lunch and Learn series, and we are so grateful that you're joining us. This is our effort to bring the Farmers Union membership and the general public important information for family farmers and for our sustainable agriculture. So thank you for being with us. If you haven't had a chance to join the Iowa Farmers Union, do so today. We know that we have to all work together in order to be the best advocates for family farm agriculture, the best advocates for our communities that we can possibly be. So consider joining today. Consider giving today if you haven't had a chance to give to the Iowa Farmers Union 40K in 40 days campaign as we approach our goals there. So thank you again, Madeline, so much for being with us today. And thank you, Christina, for pulling all of us together to share this important work.
You're welcome.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye-bye.